I want you to think of the least likely person in all the world to ever become a Christ follower. Who would it be? Your mind might drift to a well-known person, some hardened celebrity whose language is vile and their ridicule and hatred of Christ are always on their tongue. Or maybe your mind goes in another direction and you're thinking about a relative who just loves to mock your faith and to rip on Jesus. Or maybe it's you. And you are here against your will, and you have absolutely no desire or interest in spiritual things, and you think, well, that's me. I'd be the last person to ever become a Christian. But whoever comes to your mind, today in Acts chapter 9, you're going to find that the person that you've picked doesn't even come close to this guy named Saul. I mean, Saul is a respected, powerful leader. He's a Pharisee of Pharisees. He mocks the resurrection account. He sees Christians as a threat to the Jewish way of life. We first see the very first mention of him in Acts chapter 7, when those who stoned Stephen to death, the first Christian martyr, they give their coats and their cloaks to Saul to hold so that they can throw a little bit harder. That's our first mention of him. And the words are chilling in Acts chapter 8 as it says, and Saul was there giving approval to his death. And as news of this stoning spread, it caused Christianity to scatter. And the Bible says that Saul was like a methodical madman going house to house, flushing out Christians, dragging off men and women, and throwing them in prison. This is not just Saul saying, hey, I disagree with your interpretation of the Old Testament prophecies. Or, hey, let's have a debate in the synagogue and talk about our differing views that we both hold. No, Saul's ultimate goal wasn't simply prison for Jesus' followers, it was death. And like a Hitler, he wants to exterminate a whole segment from society. And he has the papers to arrest them, he's got permission. And yet God is going to get a hold of him, and it will start the most dramatic transformation that you have ever heard of. This antagonist will become an evangelist. This murderer is going to be personally responsible for writing more than 1/2 of the books in your New Testament. I mean, it's so outlandish. I mean, he's the last person that you would ever dream would become a Christian. But he's about to have this radical experience with the one who Christians know as Jesus, the Son of God.